Yo, what's up? What is going on? What is going on? Let me adjust my camera a little bit. Y'all don't mind my little stuff over here. Okay, so today we're gonna do some podcast editing. My name is Kidboy Cooper. Let me start off. Hold on. Hello, how are you? My name is Kidboy Cooper, and I am Kidboy the Podcast Guru. And so today we're going to do some podcast editing. If you are an expert coach, consultant, and you have an expertise and you want to beat the social media algorithms, you want to stop scrolling so much on your phone, you want to be able to make content that you can spread out all over the week and really just condense all of the social media stuff down into one activity, you're going to want to start a podcast. And I'm going to show you what to do, right? Last time, I think it was Monday, we talked about how to start your podcast, right? Everything that you were going to need, an idea, your mission, your ideal client or your ideal listener, the technology you're going to need, a computer, a microphone, some headphones, some software, a podcast episode outline. We talked about all this kind of stuff already. And so today I'm going to show you what it looks like when you have used everything that's at your disposal and now it's time to edit, right? You had a great conversation and you're just like, oh my God, now I got to edit this whole thing. I'm going to show you how to do this really quick and easy, okay? All right, so I'm going to attempt to share my screen. So you all let me know if it looks good. Let me, I want to check and make sure it's live on Facebook. Because, I just want to make sure we live. I'm going to show you how to do this. Awesome. Okay, so we're live on Facebook. I'm going to put my, okay, turn that down. Give me just a second here, guys. Bow. Okay. All right, so let's work. So I did a podcast earlier today, and I recorded it. So I'm going to show you the process of taking your podcast from being recorded, putting it in some software, and then cutting it all up. Okay? Awesome. Let's do it. Okay. Boom. I'm going to share my screen. Let's do this. Screen share. Boom. I'm down there at the bottom there. Operating system things has changed. Do I want to? Yes. Okay. So what this is telling me is that it's telling me that the preferences for my audio devices have changed. Do I want to check them out? Sure. So basically, in this screen, this is where you're going to decide what you're gonna do, right? So here's the general appearance of your sessions. This is where you can like pick different colors for things. You don't really care about any of that. What you want to do is go to the audio hardware and you want to select your device. So I could put the built-in system or I can use my Scarlett Audio. That's going to be where my microphone is connected. So I'm going to use that. Yes. And then the default output is the app, right? Which is fine. Yeah. No, I have audio out. We're gonna use the Scarlett there too. So what this basically means is I'm gonna get the microphone from from my Scarlett. So my microphone is going over XLR. It's going into the Scarlett, which is a small interface. That interface has a USB cable, which then connects to my computer. Okay, so think about, so if you have a USB microphone, you don't need the interface, but I have an XLR microphone because it adds different tonal qualities to my voice, so that it sounds really good. You know what I'm saying? So that's up to you. You don't have to do that. You could just do a USB, but that's what you're looking at right now. Okay, so that's I select my Scarlett, which is my USB interface. For you, it might be a USB microphone. All right, so we're gonna hit OK, and we're gonna open up our session. So you see our session here. This is what it looks like when you open it up. Okay, let's click that guy. I want to move this over. Okay, cool. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to File, which is up at the top here. Oh, actually, yep, we're gonna hit New Multi-Track Session. And we're gonna go to our templates. You can do a whole bunch of different templates here. You're gonna use podcast template. So let's name it. This is episode 70. So 70 for me, which is let's do 70. Episode 70, and this one was called Skill Set versus Scholar. And it was with Miles. Full. Boom. All right, so that's our name. So we got it made. Okay, so now here we are. We've got a session. It's open. We've named it so we can always find it again, right? We know what audio devices that we're using, and so now let's get the audio from Zoom or from whatever device you're using. It's going to be basically the same thing. You got to find the file first. So let's find the file. All right, so the next thing I need to do is I'll go in my Finder window, and I named it. It's right here. I already have it prepped. This is the Skill Set versus Scholar. But what I want is the guest, right? And I'll check this to make sure.
So it'll be a video.
See, so that's him. Let's see here. So what I want to do is I'll drag this into the session folder, and I'll just drop it in. So I'll take that away. So it's gonna take just a second for the file to upload and to populate, and then you'll be good to go, right? So it's almost there. Boom. Okay, so now if I scroll out, so this is the minus key. Scroll out. Ooh, okay, there you go. There's a whole file right there. So what do we do next? Kidboy? Okay, so now we have the interviewer. The guest rather, they are in the deal, right? So we see what they're doing. Their audio file is here. We can click on it. We can check it. What I like to do is first I'll bring this in. You see this right here? This little guy here. This is the overall gain of the track. You see how big these WAV files are getting? That's the overall gain of the track. If you hit Command Z, if you're on Apple, or Control Z, you can undo. It's a quick undo for things. Let's say you made a mistake or something. You can just undo it, right? And it'll take me back to where it was originally. But for this, we may want to bring down the volume a little bit. Not the volume, the gain. So we can bring it down, or we can make it louder. Totally up to you. But if your track is just super loud, you may want to bring it down just a touch and then start working with it in the mixer window. But right now we're still over here. So it's like, okay, so where is my audio? All right, so we'll go back into the folder and I'll grab mine. So that says guest, and this is main mic. So I'm using Ecamm Live. For you, it might be participant 1 or participant 2, or it might have your name of you and the guest. It's up to you, but this is basically where we're at. So I'll take this and I'll drag it into my session, and I'll put it for the host. I'll get rid of that, and boom. So you see that my file with my words are my audio is loading right here. Okay. So far we've made sure that our audio devices are selected, and we have imported our guest audio and then our audio into the software, into Adobe Audition, because this is Adobe Audition. This software is like $20, okay? So if you don't want to pay for software, that's cool, but this is the software I'm showing you on today. I'll show you some other softwares later, but today we're working with Adobe Audition. You dig? And it's really, really very convenient. If you're a podcaster, I suggest Adobe Audition. I really do. I think it's got just a really great flow, and it's super easy. So, all right, so now we have both the audio files. Now what do we do? So at this point, we generally will listen through and see kind of where we're at. If you look closely, you know when someone's talking, because right here, so you see this here? This whole middle section where he's not speaking, that's because I'm speaking.
Okay.
And then on this side, you see that I'm not speaking very much. That's because he's speaking. Right in the middle here, that's where I said something.
Director, but you literally go out.
Yeah. So that's where I said something. But you'll be able to see when people are talking, right? Because you're watching the wave files. I ask a question, he makes a response. I ask a question, he interjects something. Make another statement, he has a response. Like, so you see what's happening here. You can visually see the exchange. Okay. So at my first glance,
I do the stuff that you're teaching, right? So you're a product of your own expertise, right?
at a first glance, you see that. Or at least you can hear that it's a little loud. So what I'll do is, so this is the session, right? This is where the wave files exist, and this is the mixer window. This is where I can move around the individual tracks and add effects to them. So when you use Audition, you're gonna have this speech volume leveler on everything, except like, at least on your audio tracks for your guest and your host. I don't like that. I don't like it. I think it sounds like terrible. So I always turn it off. And so what we'll do is I'll hit play.
Does that sound right?
So you see how much more tamed.
Yeah.
Maybe you can hear this or not.
Something where that was always really.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Can you guys hear that? I hope you can. I hope you guys can hear it. Let's see here. So, first thing you want to do when you're editing a podcast. So now we've got our audio. Let's backtrack through what we did. We made sure that our audio interfaces were selected properly, right? Which for me was the Scarlett Audio. For you, it might be your USB microphone, and then your built-in headphones. Either way, you want to make sure your settings are right first. Then you're going to import your audio from your host and from the guest. And there may be more than, there may be a lot of people, right? So maybe you have multiple people, so you may have a couple more, but the process is the same. So the next thing we want to do is level everything out, right? We don't want Miles super loud and me super quiet, or me super loud, Miles super quiet. You want everybody about level. So I'm going to show you. So when you're doing this, you see these voices here. I try to keep everything about Unity. Unity is the 0, right?
The industry that is music and technology and entertainment.
Okay, so now we've got some levels going on here.
And I personally feel like I don't feel like I'm equipped to.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we want to level his vocals out. So that we have similar stuff going on. And for me, let's see here. The first thing I like to do is once I level everybody out, I'll go through a strategic process every single time. All right, so I'll tell you what I do. So I'll go in here and I'll pick the parametric EQ. And then I'll go to vocal enhance. And so what's happening here is it's dipping off the low end, and this is a preset, right? And it will naturally tell you kind of where audio levels are sitting, right? Now, a lot of this high end, you can't hear. Just like a lot of this low end, you can't hear. So we don't necessarily need all that high end. So I take some of that off, right? Just to give me a little dip there. And I know that we're speaking in between there. So we'll call that good for now. And we'll listen. Okay. Let's start here. We'll start with mine. Awesome. Okay. So we got clean audio from me. It sounds pretty decent. Okay, awesome. So what I basically did here, we'll look at it again. What I basically did here was take off some of the high end because you don't need any of that. That's where you get a lot of like, you don't need that. There's other frequencies in here. This is a quick way to do this, okay? We could really get into a lot of audio technology editing stuff, but I don't want to do that. I want to just show you how to get it done. And then I take off the low end, which basically is all of the you hear in a microphone. So you want to get rid of that. All right, so the next thing I want to do, so I've done my EQ. I'm gonna put a compressor on it. So compressors, think of it like this: like it will put your frequency, put your volumes in. It will compress them, right? So if you got a really loud speaker, or a lot of stuff going on, it'll compress it into a format that's easier for you to use, that's easier for you to listen to, or that meets a certain standard. So what I'll do is I'll go in here and I'll click presets. I usually do internet delivery. Now I've modified some of these presets, okay? But you can still use these exact presets and get you super, super close. Now, based on your individual podcast, you may want to make some modifications, but once you do it, you save your preset, and I'll show you how to do that. You click this button over here, which saves your preset, internet delivery. I'll hit KC. All right, so you're gonna put internet delivery, whatever, you name it, whatever you want. But now you have a preset saved. So now every time you go through your podcast, you can just click it, boom, you're done. All right, so we'll put that on there. All right, the next thing that I like to do is I like to put denoise on my on everything. Not everything, but definitely on podcasts, because I want it to be as clean and as clear as possible. So now we're going to use denoise. Now I like to use light denoise. If you've got a lot of noise in your tracks, you may have some other things you need to do, but I use light because I don't generally need too much connections that have really enabled me to do some amazing things, and I really just can't stress enough how thankful I am for the experiences that I had at the University of St. Francis, and I want to welcome them as a title. Awesome. Okay, so you see these three things that I've done. I've done the parametric EQ, which is a preset. Again, I'll show you that. See, you can go in here and make your preset, right? But when you get the sound that you want, I would start with the vocal enhancer, and then modify from there, and then I would save it. Save your preset, right? Because you don't want to have to keep doing it every single time. Go ahead and save it, and then the next time you go to it, you'll be good. Save you a lot of time. So we did EQ, we did multi-band compressor, and again, you select a preset. It'll get you kind of close, and then you can make some modifications from there if you need to. If you don't need to, don't worry about it. And then the next thing is denoise. Now, I like to use denoise because I just want to make sure that I'm always having really clear audio as best I can. So I just want to make sure you guys are aware of that. All right. And we're going to do the exact same thing on the other track. So this is speech volume. We do not want speech volume. It's bogus. So we click this little arrow. We'll go down to EQ, parametric EQ, boom. We'll do the vocal enhancer. I want to take out some of this high end because we don't need it. And when I go in here, let's listen to Miles. So he's a little bit muted. I want his voice.
It's the ability, the capacity to do something, whatever that is, whether that's industry related or
How would you define being a scholar then?
So I look at that as a bit more of a symbiotic relationship.
All right, so what we got going here is we've taken the parts of his voice that sound really good. We did the same basic thing, right? We took off the low end, we took off the high end. You can't really hear too much of that. It just contributes to noise. And then we found where his voice is actually kind of popping out, and we brought that up a little bit. Makes him sound a little bit more warm and a little closer to us so that it has a better sound, right? Super easy. And again, save these presets. Just save them. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the compressor on it, right? Which is what we did for the next one. Multi-band compressor. Pow. And we'll do internet delivery KC, remember?
Where I think just by nature we attribute.
Now he's still a little bit loud, So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring his volume down here to about -18. You see these negative numbers? Now -18 is a decent. You know, I like to get somewhere around 0, but for now we'll work with this. And the next thing we want to do is obviously what? Denoise. Why? Because we don't want any noise. We'll do light. Light is what I like a lot because it sounds real natural, and if you do too much denoise, it starts to sound weird. Okay, so now you've just
Skill sets to do the if
is that most people don't see.
drive us in a unique way that I think. So I think that's just that feeling of
Where I teach other people how to create podcasts. Okay, so now we have two files that both sound about the same as far as their volume. You see this down here? You see this down here where it's about -18?
inundated with these.
And here's about -18 there as well. So you have your two audio files that are about the same volume. That way nobody's competing. All right, so we're gonna add our intro and our outro, and then we'll basically be done. And you can add other components as you would like. Some people will add all kinds of different chimes and sound effects and things like that to accentuate the interview or different moments in the interview to make it an even more all-encompassing experience. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. I'm just showing you how to do it, because if you're an expert and you're trying to you're trying to extend yourself without doing so many other things. You're like, listen, I'm gonna start a podcast, I'm gonna share the information that I have, and I'm gonna generate leads and ultimately build my client base and things like that through being genuinely helpful. You may not have a lot of help right now, so I'm just going to show you how this is done. All right. So I want to go here because okay. Let's see here. I want to find my audio. I should have this. Actually, I do have this. So here's what I'll do. I'll take, so wherever your, let's see here. Where is it? Okay, we'll click here. Let's do, so what you're gonna do is, now that you have your audio level, you're gonna add your intro and your outro, and maybe your ad, and then you're basically done. So I gotta find my intro real quick. I think it's called Groove Track Concept. I can't spell concept apparently. Let's see here. Anthony Track, Breaking Cycles. Let's look for. Ooh. Ew. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to #track65. That's Tina. So what I'll do is I'll take this track from in here. Hook. That's Tina's. Let's look in the file here. And we have the groove track mission. Got a multitude of. All right, so we're gonna drag the groove track in here, right? Boom, there you go. So now we're gonna take that away, and back this up, drag this over. We'll copy this. So if you hit Command or Control, if you're on PC, Command C or Command V, that's Control copy or Control paste. V is paste. So Control C is copy, Control V is paste. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna Control C this little file. We're gonna back it up, right? We're gonna go all the way to the end of the file. We're gonna hit Control V. So now we have an intro an outro, and our clip. So what we want to do is we don't want all these playing at once. So I'll drag this guy back. And if you're wondering how I did that, it's like, oh, how did you do that? I just selected, I'll show you again. I just selected all of this. You watching? Across the whole thing. And there you go. I got it. So now, well, let's play it. Ooh, that's loud. Oh, Lord Jesus. All right, so we got to bring that down because that intro is loud. We don't want to scare nobody. All right, so there you go. There we go. Yada, yada, yada.
Subscribe to our channel and let us empower you.
Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Now, okay, this is where the music stops, right? I could let it keep going. You know, I was just doing some riffing on guitar. But I don't need it. So I'm going to cut it off there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this back. And you see this? When you hover over the edge of an audio clip, it'll give you this little tool here that'll help you drag things back and forth. It'll only drag as long as the clip is, but you can bring it back. And so what I'll do is I'll bring it back right about there. I'll zoom in, and then I'll put this little fade on there. You see these little boxes there? It'll just give you those. You can add fades to it. You can add natural stuff, but you can just grab that little box and give yourself a nice little fade there, and you're good to go. And now you have a podcast that's going to sound really nice. We'll select all this again, right? Because we only need what we need. We'll drag that over. So now it starts there. I can copy this with that modification on it where I cut it. I'll select it. I'll get rid of the older one. So I'll control P. Oh, no. Drag it over here. And so now I have this whole podcast.
So it'll be a video as well, or do you just kind of put the... No, it's true. It's
Happy to help.
So now I have an entire podcast all edited, and I don't really have to do too much now. So what I'll do is I'll hit these ends with the same fade. That way he didn't really say anything right there, so we'll just end his stuff over there. We put a little fade on it. He drops out. All right, I say good. So peace. I can actually bring this in here because we don't want a lot of dead space, right? We want our episodes to be tight. So sorry, I got like notifications coming through. So as soon as I say peace, you want to give it like a beat, and then you want to drop in your intro. Yeah, think of like your favorite movie and how it was all timed up and super cool. You want to do that with your podcast. So, any questions? Basically, that's how you've edited your entire podcast. You upload it first. You opened up your software. You checked your settings, right, to make sure that your audio settings were correct. And then you dropped in your audio from Zoom or from Ecamm Live for me or from wherever it is you're recording. You're going to, once you dropped in your tracks, you're going to level them, right? You want to make sure they're not competing. One's not super loud, one's not super quiet. And then you're going to put the same effects on them, right? Based off of need. You can get more creative depending on your need, but you should be focused on getting really clean recordings. That's going to be the best help for you when editing, because you can't, make a silk purse out of a pig's ear. If you got a really bad recording, I'm sorry. You're going to have to re-record that because you don't want to put yourself out there looking crazy. So, and then once you have those in here, you're going to drop in your intro and your outro. If you don't have an intro and outro, have somebody make you one, or you can go on like Fiverr, or you can find some sound effects that you like. I like to do a voiceover over my intro. It gives all of my mission statement and all other kind of stuff. That way, when you get to my podcast, you know exactly where you are. And if you don't like it, you can leave. You know what I'm saying? All right. So once you've done that, then you put, again, the same effects on everything. And so now you have a podcast that has the intro and the outro. It's leveled, so it sounds good. Everybody has a warm, nice tones, real conversational. And now you can export. Super easy, right? So what we're going to do to export, we're going to select. Remember I showed you how to select? You could just drag it down. Boom. All right. And then you're going to go up to File. you're gonna hit export. I can't see, my camera's in the way. Okay, export, multi-track mixdown. And then you're gonna do all of the selected clips, because sometimes when you're editing, you could like end up cutting different pieces out because you're like, you know what, I don't really need this piece, or I don't really need that piece. So you edit different pieces out, which is cool. But it just gives you an opportunity to not have those clips in there. So if you just set the entire session, anything in your session is going to get selected. So you want to be very intentional, and once you're done editing, you select everything you want to come out as in the export. All right, and then you hit selected files. You go to export, multi-track mixdown, and then you go to selected clips. We'll go to selected clips, and it'll pop up with this little window right here. And this window is going to tell you the file name, right? You named it when you first started the file, so that's the name. And the location is super important. You can change the location of where it's going. These are all the different locations I could have this file export to, but I'm going to leave it right where it is because I know right where it is. The next one is going to be your format. You see all these different formats here, like the only one you really want is the MP3 audio. If you got something else going on, cool, but I'm going to tell you, you want the MP3 audio because it's going to save you some space in your download stuff. So you're going to hit the MP3 audio, right? We're good. Everything's good. And then you're going to hit OK. So now it's going to export this file for you. Okay? And that's, in a nutshell, that's how you do that. How does that sound? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Yeah, that's basically how you do it. So, no there. Hold on. I'm gonna stop that guy. So that's basically how you would do your podcast. That's how you would edit your podcast stuff. It's really simple. It's not really hard. It's just a matter of understanding the process that you're going to go through, and you're going to do that every single time. Repetition is key. You got to get your reps in. Like, I've got over 70 episodes, right? And I recorded more than that because some of them I had to trash because I messed it up. So you really just want to dial in your process and then repeat that again and again and again. And as you can see, it doesn't take you that long. So, I know you're like, oh, well, I'm not an editor. You don't need to be. You need to focus on having a really clean recording. That's going to be the biggest help to you, because once that recording is clean, everything else happens. Does that make sense? So this is just a little once over for you guys, okay? I'm going to write it on the screen. I want to write it on the screen because I want you to be really good. Okay, let's do it. So editing steps. We'll do podcast editing steps. Okay, so let's add that. Put that over here. I know y'all probably like, I remember, but I just want to make sure you're good, because I don't want you to walk away and be confused. Okay, so step number 1 is import the audio. Well, yeah. So you're gonna open software and check settings. All right, so you're gonna want to make sure you're on the appropriate settings. So that's 1. I guess I could put numbers here, right? Y'all bear with me. I'm gonna get this down. It might take a couple reps, but we getting there. Don't worry. All right, so that's there. So we got step 1. Y'all, this is bad. Boom, there it is. There it is. Open software and check your settings. Okay. Well, we'll drag that there. All right, so step 2 is going to be importing the audio. So we'll do to import audio. Okay, we'll add that. Boom. That's step 2. Step 3 is going to be Step 3 is going to be leveling all your audio. So 3. Audio volume leveling. There it is. Boom. Leveling. All right, so that's step 3. Step 4, add audio enhancements. 3. And you're only going to add the audio enhancements that you're cool with. You don't have to go and add all kinds of crazy stuff. You don't have to do all of that, okay? You just want to make sure that it sounds super good. I need you to stop thinking it's going to be this huge, crazy, long process. It just doesn't have to be that way, okay? So you're going to add your audio effects. All right, so that's step 3. Oh, that's actually step 4 because I can't count. All right, and then step 5 is going to be adding your intro and outro. Step 5, add intro and outro. Boom, add intro and outro. Pow. And then finally export as MP3. I'm actually gonna, oh, I can't do that. I'll move these up a little. How about that? Does that help y'all? Y'all are probably like, Brad, I don't care. Okay, so we're gonna export as 6 bow. Boom. Export audio as MP3. Export. There's no E in export. There's not 2 E's at least. Okay. So that's it. That's the entire process. It took me 37 minutes to show you all that, and I went back a couple times. You all can literally do this in like 15 minutes. Remember, your focus needs to be on getting a clean recording, audio, video recording, whether it's on Zoom or Skype or Zencaster or whatever software you're using. You want to get a clean recording. That's why it's important that you get headphones to isolate your microphone from your speakers in your computer. That's why it's important to get like a USB microphone or an interface so that you can have a really great sound. And that's why you should encourage your guest to grab some kind of a microphone or some kind of USB something, because it'll just give you a better opportunity to have really clear audio. And the cleaner your audio is, the faster you're going to be able to edit, because you just don't have to do so much to manipulate how it sounds in order for it to sound good. So we'll go over the steps one more time, and then I want you to go and implement this, okay? I want you to go and edit your podcast. I know you can do it, and I know it's a little scary because sometimes things are new, but you got this. So first, we're going to open up our software, whether it's Adobe Audition like I did, or Audacity or GarageBand, and you're going to check your settings. You want to make sure that your settings are right so that you're hearing things, and you're not trying to work and you're like, oh, nothing's working. Make sure all your settings are right, okay? And then once you reopen that file or do any other recording, the settings will save. Step 2. You're going to import the audio. Take it off of Zoom, take it out of that Zoom folder or the Skype folder or wherever it is your audio is. You're going to take it out of there and drop it on your timeline, okay? Step 3, you want to level out all of the volumes. You don't want some people super loud, some people super short, super low. You don't want your volume all over the place. You want everything to hit about 18 dB or, unity, which is 0. It's just a good framework for how things should sound, right? And if they're too low, it's probably less than 18. And if it's too high, it's most likely higher than unity. And I showed you that little trick where you can make the waveforms actually a little bit smaller, which makes them a little quieter, right? Okay, the next thing you're gonna do is, now that you've done all your audio volume leveling, you're gonna go through and then you're going to add all your effects, okay? And again, make templates and things like that along the way. Save yourself time, figure it out, and then, especially for your own voice, you're pretty good about, you're probably going to sound the same most of the time when you podcast, so you want to save your templates for sure, okay? The next thing you're going to do is you're going to add your intro and your outro. Make sure it sounds good on front end and the back, and then you're good. You don't want a lot of, you're good, you know? So the next after that, you're going to select everything that you want to export as the podcast, because if you did some trimming or cutting or moving of things around and it's still lingering in the same area, you don't want that. You just want the podcast audio. So you're going to click it, select, and then you're going to export as an MP3. MP3s are going to give you the best amount of value or volume for the space, because you know, when you're uploading to a hosting platform, it's sometimes you can, depending on what plan you have, you may not have too much space. So you want to save space by exporting as MP3s, and then you're done. Then you can release it. You want to tell everybody about it so they can all join you in celebrating, and you're done. That's it. So that is how you edit a podcast, right there in a nutshell. So I want you guys to go and implement. I want you to check this out, and I want you to go implement, because once you implement, once you start taking these steps, once you start figuring it out, it's going to make so much more sense to you. Okay? All right. I'm super happy that you're here. I'm super happy that you watched. And I hope that this was super helpful for you. You want to go ahead and implement this as quickly as possible. All right? Don't forget, knock it out. You got this. Thank you so much for watching. Again, my name is Kidboy Cooper. I am the podcast guru, bro. And if you are an expert, a coach, consultant, and you are looking to stop scrolling on social media, you're looking to spread your knowledge out so that you're not doing so many things, you're not always trying to post, you're not always looking for new content, you're going to want to start a podcast. Enables you to, one, position yourself as an authority figure in your space. It's going to break down into lots and lots of clips that are easily leveraged as social proof and social media content. And it's also going to give you an opportunity to partner with other organizations that you either already work with or that you are looking to work with, because you are gathering audience, you are building warm leads for yourself, and there may be other services that are super helpful for your desired audience that you could perhaps bring into their sphere by way of sponsorships and other collaborations. So again, my name is Kidboy Cooper. You can go to www.workwithkidboycooper.com, and I can give you a free case study where I show you how to do some of this work and how to break down the stuff that you've been doing. And we can schedule a call, and we can get you all straight on your podcast strategy and what you may need to do. And we'll go from there. Okay. Now, at some point, if you want me to help you farther, my services are not cheap. They're not free. But I do get my clients results. So if you value results, you're going to love it. But if you're not ready to make that investment, that's cool too. It's just about you getting clear, right? So that you can start making the right moves and getting the right results. So thank you again for watching. I'll talk to you a little bit later. I'll probably do another class on Friday. I'm thinking about doing these about 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That makes sense? Probably be somewhere around nighttime. All right? Okay, look, I'll talk to you super soon. Share this with somebody if it's not for you. And I can't wait to be back to share more stuff with you guys. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Peace.